My story with the Wattle Fellowship sort of begins midway through last year when I was taking some time off studying. And we were in Fiji doing some volunteering for a couple of months, me and my partner. And we were working in a domestic violence shelter in Fiji. And she was doing health checks and I was in the office doing like sort of administration. And there was one particular day I remember we finished our day and she was just in tears basically. She had had 3 or 4 patients that day who had reported really serious menstrual cramps and were really struggling to manage their period. And so we really wanted to do something about it because the suffering was right there in our face and we felt like we owed it to try and help. So that night we went to the local pharmacy and we tried to buy as many period products as we could. But when we sort of looked at our haul, we realized we only had enough for probably 2 or 3 women for 2 or 3 cycles. So really not addressing the issue at all. And what was worse was the period products we had bought were going to end up in landfill and clogging up Fiji's water systems. And so, talking further to the women, we discovered that a lot of them had been pushed under the poverty line as a result of COVID-19. And so buying things like period products, they weren't able to do it. Like in Australia as well, we've only had the experience recently where period products are not seen as a luxury anymore, they're seen as a necessity. And Fiji is still in that stage where they're still getting taxed and they're still out of reach for low socioeconomic families. So as these kind of conversations were happening for me in my head and with my partner, we really wanted to do something long-term and sustainable for these women to help them. We ended up connecting with a not-for-profit organisation called Days for Girls, who was based in Fiji and run by local women. And so then this opportunity with the Wattle Fellowship came up and I was really excited because I was like, this is an amazing chance for me to combine my love for and my passion for climate change and social justice together, as well as develop myself in a leadership capacity as well. And I think from the start with the Wattle Fellowship, what was really exciting was it felt like I had found my people. And so in that process, not only did I get funding to do my project, but I got a whole lot else out of it. And not only was it about implementing the program and distributing the period products and the training, but it was also about bringing, from my perspective, the men into the conversation and saying that when we're trying to achieve social change, we need to take issues like period parity from being just a women's health issue to a human rights issue. And that's how we achieve societal change. And so it was really powerful to bring the sons and partners of the women in these communities sort of into the room to discuss menstrual health and the importance of menstrual health. And in that process we did a lot of recordings, we made our own video, and it gave me an opportunity to exercise and learn a whole slew of new skills around logistics and planning, things that I'd never really done before, and also to practice my skills as an ally as well and really acknowledge the privilege that I have in that space, but really acknowledge that men have a really important role to play in period parity. And I really enjoyed being able to communicate that with people, in understanding that it was an uncomfortable subject, but just communicating with people was really important to me. So at the moment, what we're looking to do is purchase a whole new set of sewing machines for the women to actually start producing the period products themselves, so that we can create this sort of sustainable infrastructure and that we can gradually step away. Personally, I think I've really learnt to think critically about my leadership style, but I've also learnt a lot about the world, and I really will always be grateful for the Wattle Fellowship for that.